Hello, welcome to the first edition of Issues with JIDE in the year 2024. We talk about actions and inactions of those who shape our political and national landscape and how these impact us positively or otherwise. I'm Ibrahim Sheeta. Today on the show, multi-billion naira fraud rocks humanitarian ministry, past, present ministers on the fire. In the course of the program, we take your questions, but first subscribe to our YouTube channel and drop your questions in the comment section. I have joining me. It's actually important to mention that we only read comments with human names and that which are based on the subject matter. I have joining me via Zoom the maestro himself, Babajide Kolade-Otitoju. I'm happy to see you again in 2024, BKO.
Happy to see you again and happy to connect with our loyal viewers. We appreciate your friendship with us over the years, and we promise that we will never take your support lightly, and we promise to commit ourselves to speaking the truth at all times. You must have heard that, oh, because APC is in power now, JIDE has stopped saying the truth. It's absolute nonsense. At any point in time, I am committed to my job. I will speak the truth. The truth may not be palatable to some people. To some people, if the truth does not say that their preferred candidate won an election, then it's not the truth. Those are not the people that we are referring to. In the task of building our nation, we must commit ourselves wholeheartedly to speaking the truth, no matter whose house is God. In the task of building our nation, we must tell the ruling government, the government at the center, the government in the states, the government in the local governments, the truth, because that is the only way to cause them to sit up and deliver good governance to our people. If we fail to do that, then we are not worthy of our name as journalists. And I, as a person, I've come a long way in my profession. It is too late to stop speaking the truth. And anyone who watches this program dispassionately would see as we go on, even in the new year, that my commitment to speaking the truth is unwavering. That is what we need to do to get our leaders to work for the Nigerian people. Otherwise, the leaders will simply busy themselves working for themselves and their families. That's not what we want to see. So come with us in the course of this new year as we rededicate ourselves to serving our people, to speaking the truth to power.
That's right. I'm very much inspired, with your brief introduction into our programming into the year 2024. BKO, kudos to you as always. Let's get down to brass tacks for today's topic, which, talking about the former Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Sadiya Umar Farouk, who had officially written to the EFCC seeking an extension of the deadline to meet with the Commission's interrogators over an ongoing probe into the monumental fraud that allegedly took place under her watch. This has set a lot of tongues wagging, no doubt. But what do you make of these latest scandals involving Buhari's former appointees?
I am not surprised. I'm not surprised. And I'm happy that there were so many things that I complained about the former administration. There were moments when I praised them when they deserve to be praised. And there were moments when I condemned the government to the point that people were asking, who is this person? How come he's working at TVC and he continues to attack us? I wasn't attacking, I was simply telling them the truth. And it takes a lot of courage to do that. It seemed very much like yesterday. Today, some people will say, oh, he criticized Jonathan, he criticized Obasanjo, he criticized Buhari. Tinubu is the only one that is not criticizing. Again, that is nonsense. The government of the day, if we see a need to correct them, nothing in the world will make me refuse to correct them. Because that is what I swore to do as a journalist. And no president, I repeat, no president is too big to be criticized. No government is good enough to not be criticized. This is the way it should be. So, looking at what has happened, I'm not really surprised because some of these things I had talked about them at the time. And some people picked offense. Some APC members, they picked offense. Some of them called me names. Some of them blocked me on Facebook. In fact, the highest number of people who blocked me on Facebook were APC sympathizers. I can say that 1,000,000 times. Because I have friends across the parties. Now, the problem that we had with the previous administration was that people will complain about some key members of that administration, and the president will not take action. How come we had a situation in which under that ministry, the sum of 44 billion was said to have been transferred from the remitter account of the ministry and then moved straight to the account, to the accounts of private individuals and companies that were suspected to be fronts for the people in government. So if we had a cabal that would only move against an individual in government because they like what the person was doing, you will have this situation. No government can remain in office forever. So once that government leaves and a new government comes in, looking for money, running from pillar to post to raise money, and it can see that there's money in private hands, it will investigate and try to come to get to the root of the matter. That is what we are seeing now. I have said it on this program before. President Obasanjo and President Tinubu has no reason not to look at some of what happened in the past. Because Nigerians are eager. They saw a lot of things that were wrong with that administration. So all the president needs to do is get the agencies of government concerned to investigate certain individuals believed to have looted our country and recover our funds from such people. That's patriotism. Nobody is big enough to loot the resources of our country and then get away with it. There is no such person. So this is what we have seen. Halima Shehu, who was the national coordinator for the conditional cash transfer, is the person who has been accused of permitting the transfer of huge funds into private accounts and the accounts of corporate entities believed to be fronting for them. Now she's been released on bail by the EFCC, but she is now obligated to visit the EFCC on a daily basis because they are still interrogating her. They are still trying to get some facts about her. One thing is clear, the EFCC has made it clear that even at this stage, they cannot say this is all of the money that had been stolen. We saw under the president, the immediate past president, an accountant general of the Federation who is believed to have stolen 109 billion naira. And he returned a little over 40 billion of the loot. That was even reported. That was reported by the prosecutor on the floor of the court. You can imagine that quantum of money being returned. It underlines the fact that indeed she looted hefty sums from the treasury of our country. We've not gone deep enough to discover all of what was stolen, but we are getting there. The EFCC is also investigating those who were provided with foreign exchange to bring in raw materials for their businesses and all that, who then proceeded to divert the foreign exchange to the black market so that they can make money. A good number of Nigerians have made money through this means. Scarce foreign exchange will be made available to them, divert it to the black market where they can make billions of naira. And at the end of the day, we'll come out and say that, oh, we do not have, we have dollar illiquidity, we don't have enough dollars. So let's move on to what is going on in that ministry. This ministry appears to be a ministry simply created for some individuals to steal money meant for the poorest of the poor. It is the most unconscionable thing to do, to divert money meant to make life a little meaningful for the poorest of the poor in our society. You steal money meant for them. You have no heaven to go to. It's as simple as that. That is what's going on in that ministry. Now, the minister, the immediate past minister, is being investigated for 37 billion. And that's why she has a date with the EFCC. She's going nowhere. When the time comes, she will still have to face the EFCC and explain what she knows. But the focus on that ministry is yielding a lot of things. In fact, it's now showing to us that, oh, amongst themselves, they are even leaking secrets about themselves. Look at what has happened with the current Minister of Humanitarian Affairs. I am disappointed that a woman of Betta Edu's education will go to the extent of writing to the Accountant General of the Federation to transfer more than 580 million naira meant for the poorest of the poor in Akwa Ibom, Lagos, and some other states, to be posted into the private account, into the account of an individual that she described as the project accountant. What is the meaning of project accountant? Hasn't that agency got its own account? I mean, this is a big scandal, because the immediate past, the national coordinator for the conditional cash transfer is being investigated, has even been suspended from her position, from her current position in this administration, because of the allegation that funds were diverted into private accounts under her watch. It's exactly the same thing that Betta Edu wanted the Accountant General to do. Thank God, because as I was preparing for this program, I saw that the Accountant General actually didn't release the money. Despite the fact that Betta Edu was trying to explain away what has happened. How do you want Nigerians to believe that it was right to move 580 million into a private account? How on earth? And you had the guts to even be explaining that, oh, it is not illegal within civil service laws. Which laws? Which law permits you to move bulk funds into private accounts from government coffers? There's no such law. No regulation permits that kind of thing to take place. In fact, it's seen as a serious procurement and fiscal malfeasance. And if we say we want to tackle corruption in our country, this sort of things should never be allowed to happen. We will defeat corruption when we make it impossible for individuals to even go that far. Now, since she's saying it does not that it does not infringe on any law, I wonder how much she knows about our laws, because she's a medical doctor. It infringes on Public Procurement and Fiscal Responsibility Act, the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Offences Act, and the Code of Conduct Act. It is also in breach of the Anti-Money Laundering Prohibition Act. So who says it was right for Betta Edu to say that she should go and move 580 million into an individual's account? The question is, that individual, if the money was moved into her account, will she pay tax on the money? Will she? How do you even monitor compliance when the money is sitting in somebody's private account? How do you do that? You can see why we have a country where an accountant general can steal about 109 billion naira. If it is so easy for bulk funds the size of 580 million, funds the size of 44 billion to be moved into private accounts. In this case, an individual, you call that an accountant in charge of the project, and that once the money is moved into account, she can then explain how the money was disbursed and all that. Nonsense. Nonsense. You can then do retirement. No, you can't move that quantum of money that was sitting in the remitter account of the agency straight into a private account. It is unlawful. Betta Edu is lucky today that the accountant general disobeyed and refused to honor her letter. Look at what the accountant general said. In such situations, payments are usually processed by the affected ministries as self-accounting entities, and no bulk payment is supposed to be made to an individual's account in the name of project accountant. She then affirmed that such payments should be sent to the beneficiaries through their verified bank account. That is the right thing to do. So we dodged the bullet there. But the minister, having escaped a clear breach of the law by the fact that the accountant general refused to carry out the instruction from her, the president has to sit Betta Edu down and warn her that the next time this kind of infraction takes place, the next time she does this kind of thing, she'll be shown the door. This is what I expect the president to do. Otherwise, people in our administration will smear him. People in his administration will smear him, and people will say, oh, perhaps the president even knows about these things. The president must let those who work for him realize that he will not tolerate these kind of things. The president said he wants to defeat insecurity totally. I demand from the president today that he should tell his ministers and other people working with him that he wants to defeat corruption totally. We must have that mindset if we want to go far, because we can't be borrowing money and be living from hand to mouth as a country, servicing debt with more than 90% of our earnings. And some individuals will find it easy to go and steal from our resources. It has to stop, and the president must draw a line in the sand that under his watch, this will not be permitted, and that whoever tries it under his watch is going home. I know that it is possible for him to make that clear. We can't set aside money for the most vulnerable.
That's right.
And then the people who are not vulnerable will now be stealing such
that's right.
money. So let it be clear to all of the people in the current administration that this sort of thing will not be permitted.
Right, BK. This 2024 looks like a whole of Nigerians are going all out, because we are overwhelmed with comments today in our comment section. In fact, I've never seen this avalanche of comments before since I began this program with you. But then let me just quickly...
Nigerians hate the fact that, despite the fact that we are struggling as a still going on. That's not what your blood will boil as a person. Right. Your blood will boil.
That's right. Let me
quickly understand why people are angry.
That's right. I can feel the anger.
People are starving and people are stealing money. It makes no sense. People steal money in our country as if they have 2 lifetimes to spend the money that they steal. What kind of people are these?
That's right. Let me quickly jump into some of these comments. Starting with Adams Anisha saying, speaking true to power, as always, God bless you, sir. Shegun Idowu says, President really needs to break the wings of this ministry. They handled so many programs which corruption doesn't make them carry out. Folashade Olanreye says, who will save Nigeria? Who will save us in Nigeria? Even professor had to be called because of the trader money they distributed by hand. Ade Philip says, my daddy, meaning referring to President Tinubu, must be ruthless. Otherwise, he's going to be another Buhari, a paper tiger. Fabian Akeze says, the problem is how come this happened for 8 years and the EFCC, DSS and ICPC were silent, including the Nigerian media, who kept quiet but are now involved in the media trial. We know how this story will end. Komala First Sunday says, Mr. JIDE has always been speaking the truth frantically. Onome Onota, I'll raise with the comments. At this point in time, President Tinubu is on track with the liberty he has given the EFCC. Oluchuku from Ogun State says, good evening, the maestro himself. Mr. Shita, I greet you. Compliment of the season. You are doing a very good job, sir. Rems, penultimate one I'll be taking, says, well done, JIDE. That's all I wanted to hear today. You condemning Betta Edu. And Nelson Adufe says, BKO, I believe President Tinubu is truly continuing the fight against corruption. We appreciate it. Our money is in the hands of individuals that worked with previous administration and should be retrieved. And my question to you, BKO, very quickly, is that former Minister Omar Farouk, in a letter to the EFCC, cited health challenges as a reason for a plea. This is commonplace among former government officials. Why do they always give excuses about one ailment or the other, which they never had while in office? BKO, do you not find this funny?
Well, I find it funny, and even people who are not in government do it. There's a funny man in Katsina who sometimes comes on TV stations to abuse government. He has become a public affairs analyst. This man was put on trial and he was pretending like his back was broken. He didn't know that a camera had been planted in his police cell. As soon as he got into his cell, he was even leading prayers the Muslim way. His name is Mahdi Shehu. Mahdi Shehu, he goes on TV stations, to behave like a Puritan.
That's right. That's right. Let me just take one or two comments because of our time. We need to quickly, because we need to race against time. Rems Sheon says JIDE is buzzing today. Ade Phillips says the Director General of the department must be moved away from the department. Enough is enough. Akomolafe Sunday says BAT should shy away from stepping on toes. If found guilty, let her be brought to book to serve as deterrent to others. Joseph Ayodele says some of the people commenting didn't read the Constitution. That's, several comments. Maestro Efe says people steal money in our country as if they have 2 lifetimes to spend it. But BKO, I want you to react to these very quickly, and we have just about 5 minutes to call it a wrap. This latest development is coming after talking about the humanitarian crisis. I mean, the former humanitarian minister. You know, the development is coming after the EFCC arrested the former CBN governor, Godwin Emefiele, the anti-graft agency's invitation to 52 firms, and storming Dangote's office in Lagos. You know, and on and on and on. What do you make of the EFCC probing the preferential foreign exchange allocations allegedly made by Emefiele in defiance of extant financial rules and regulations and the CBN Act? How should they handle all of the corruption cases in this regime?
See, about 3 months ago, when the Naira really began to slide badly, I said on Journalist Hangouts that there were Nigerians who received hefty quantum of dollars from the CBN under Emefiele and did not bring in raw materials or anything that they claimed they were going to bring into the country with it. I said that back then, and I still stand by it. Big time businessmen, they will get dollars at the official rate, refuse to import, take the money to the black market and sell it so that they can make indecent profits. That is what we have seen now. They are probing about 51 companies. The FCC must do a diligent job. Nobody is bigger than the Nigerian state. Nobody is bigger than the Nigerian state. And if we want to survive as a country, we must not spare corrupt people. This is the point. The president has to make that clear, that he will stop at nothing to defeat corruption. So now we don't have dollars. Some people got dollars. They have to show to us how they spent the dollars that were given to them through official channel. They must explain. What did you bring in? Where are your documents to show that indeed you brought these things in? And the documents must be verifiable through electronic means. And if they cannot lay their hands, if they cannot provide concrete evidence, then they must refund what they took from us and didn't use for the purpose it was meant. They must refund or risk jail. It's as simple as that. In some countries of the world, Israel and the rest of them, they even jail their former leaders. Some presidents have gone to jail before for corruption. Who says we can't start it in Nigeria? The Nigeria of our dream should see us jail presidents, jail governors, jail Senate presidents, if they commit a crime against their state. The one who commits a crime against his country is an enemy of the state. It's as simple as that. And where do we keep the enemies of the state? We keep them in the slammer. That's where they belong. They shouldn't even be mingling with the rest of us. They shouldn't be hanging out with the rest of us. They should be put in the slammer. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. If I commit a crime against my state, send me to jail. Send me to jail.
That's right. Ubani Amos says, Babajide the Maestro, my man any day, more power to your elbow, you should say. Michael Shuluade says, please make it for 1 hour. But then we've actually exceeded the time that we allotted for this program. BKO, we just have to call it a wrap. You know, we've got many viewers.
Thank you so much
so many
for the energy. Thank you for the encouragement.
That's right.
We need a better country.
That's right. Well, that's our show for today's edition of Issues with JIDE. Special thanks to Babajide Kolade-Otitoju for those insightful analyses, as always, and compliments of the season to you again, BKO.
Thank you. Thank you.
And going forward, we believe that we'll have more interesting topics, you know, to come your way, and also calling the government to account and making Nigerians aware of of everything that are happening or everything that is happening in the country and things that we need to do as our own civic responsibility. Thank you to our audience for joining us on every edition. You can see the program again anytime by subscribing to our YouTube channel, TVC News Nigeria. Click on the subscribe button to get the latest information. You can also follow us on our social media platforms at TVC News NG. I'm also at Ibrahim, TVC News. On behalf of the rest of the team, I'm Ibrahim Shita. See you again next edition. Bye for now and happy 2024.